Hello, everybody. Day 5 of the live call-in Delphi case discussion. Before we get started, though, apparently it looks like... hold on one second. Let me load it up, actually. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Jury recommends death for man convicted in McStay family murders. Yes. Couldn't be more clear. Isn't that awesome? That the jury actually wasn't morons like so many other cases we have out there. You know, so many other juries are out there, they start buying into the conspiracy stuff and go, yeah, but wow, there really wasn't that much blood around. Oh, he's innocent, yay! I mean, this case had so much circumstantial evidence that if you were somebody who actually thought that Chase Merritt had a chance of being found not guilty, you're an idiot, okay? It was incredible how much circumstantial information piled upon on to the point where it literally is the truth. You know, I don't know. It just, to me, it was never in doubt. And as soon as they had a verdict quickly, I knew he was going to be found guilty, because there's no way. All you could hope for if you were Chase was one idiot holdout to do a hung jury. And once they had a verdict, I went, oh, God. Yeah, here we go. And now, I guess apparently for Joseph's death, he got life without parole. And then for all three of the others, he got the death penalty. Right? So that kind of makes a little bit of sense. Like, you know, a little heat of passion type of thing with Joseph, you could sort of argue. But, you know, Summer and the two kids. My God, you bash two kids with a sledgehammer. What did they do to you? Yeah, he's just a monster. Yeah, absolute monster. Yeah, there's no doubt in the world at all, to anybody with a brain, that Chase Merritt murdered those people, that entire family. It was really, really obvious stuff. And that's why, you know, the people that were watching the trial, I didn't watch every single day of it. I watched here and there because it just got so long and tedious and boring. He, you know, his defense kept trying to come up with these alternate reasons for the most ridiculous things. Like the day after the murders, on the 5th, he's at home writing checks to himself with his laptop, using the account, and then says, well, you know, came up with some cockamamie explanation. Are you kidding me? Jesus. Hey, thanks. Just Crystal. Now it's just Crystal, not Crystal, aka, let's see, Crystal, what was it before? Gaming, aka Beaver Gaming sub or something like that. Yeah, it was really long.
Gray's work is legendary. Thanks, right. Gray, smiling face with 3 hearts, smiling face with heart eyes.
Well, thank you, Just Crystal. Yeah, it was Crystal, a.k.a. Beaver Gaming sub, right? That's what the name was before. Did I get that right? All right, so that's great news, everybody. Bang! Yeah, it's awesome. Of course, you'll get people on Reddit. Did you hear Gray? He said that we're idiots because we thought he didn't do it. Yes, you are, because that means you didn't follow anything, and you chose not to look at the facts given out in the case. You just wanted him to be innocent, like so many people do. They go with what they want to believe instead of what is reality. Okay? All right. Well, Gray, I use Reddit, and I didn't think that. Well, then I'm not talking to you. You know, I think I might actually be becoming a little bit schizophrenic. I have these conversations with this unknown weirdo. Oh, see, there you go. Look at Richard, typed in exactly what I just said. Ew, bang, all right. What's this stuff right
This
here?
video is a more comprehensive look at the evidence indicating the crime scene flow.
Oh, that
in
was
the
one.
case of Libby and Abby.
Isn't that funny? That's when I used the computerized voice. I was just finding that right there. Yeah. Yeah, that was the McStay case. For those of you who didn't know, the McStay case was in 2010 on February 4th. The entire family went missing, and people thought, oh, maybe they went to Mexico because they found the family trooper down by the border. But as time went on, you could, actually for 4 years, people didn't know what the hell happened. There was some speculation out there. Ada, actually, that you see in here, when the bodies were found in 2014, I think it was, maybe late 2013, to be honest with you. What was it, February 2000? Yeah, something like, they were found about 4 years later, right? And they were found out in a desert. And, at that point, that's when I joined in on the case. Like we were investigating it in Facebook groups and things like that. And, we actually came up with good evidence that we actually sent into law enforcement, and they used one of them.
3 men this
the
week.
things.
You cracked me up at one the way.
Oh, really?
Harvey Carroll's new video is connecting Bridge Guy to Manuel Noriega, JK.
Oh, really? That's crazy. Yeah. I didn't see this week's 3 Minute of Mystery. I was in it, but I don't remember what was funny. When we're doing that show, we're laughing almost the entire time. Okay? It's like, during breaks and stuff like that. While we're shooting it, you can't really be laughing unless there's something that we actually bring up. But, we're kind of on this little structured thing. But before we start recording and after, we're laughing. What does Garrett Kurtz have to do with anything? See, everyone keeps bringing up Garrett Kurtz. And by the way, does it have my brother's name was Garrett, but he had 2 T's at the end. And I see people type his name in with 1 T, and then I see articles with 2 T's. What is it? All right. So I was going back to, so their bodies were found in the desert, back to the McStay case. A motorcycle rider was driving by, and he just happened to look down in the desert and saw a skull. Okay, so the law enforcement went out there and excavated the graves and found 4 bodies, and they determined that at some point that was actually the McStay family. And I was actually able to find the grave on Google Earth by using, actually comparing the actual bushes on the ground to helicopter footage. And then I found the little puzzle piece. Oh, there it is. Boom, boom, boom. And then everything started falling into place as far as, like, you could see the tracks still in the mud, or they were formed in mud leading to both grave sites, and they were formed 4 years prior, and they were formed in mud, so that means it rained, and that's the information we sent into law enforcement, that he must have buried the bodies when it rained, because it hadn't rained until the 6th and 7th of February, and they went missing on the 4th. So that means Chase had the bodies somewhere for a couple days. Right? And so for years and years and years, nobody knew what happened. Then all of a sudden, people started looking at it, and then Chase Merritt was arrested about a year after that. And Ada had always thought it was Chase Merritt. She kind of convinced me from time to time, but there were so many of these other people. It was crazy. But she always thought it was Chase Merritt. And, finally, after all these years, the case went to trial, about a 6-month-long trial. And boom, found guilty of first-degree murder on all 4, but got life without parole on Joseph and death penalty on all the 2 kids and Summer. So there you go, everybody. It's a crazy case. They actually found the sledgehammer in the graves, in one of the graves. Okay, and you see their bodies in there. They were tied up. I mean, it's really disturbing shit. I mean, this guy is an absolute barbarian. All right. Okay, now let's switch over to Delphi. Let's get the callers calling in. I got to get the number on the screen, of course, but. Oh wait, that's yeah. Hold on a second. I gotta actually set up Zoom. I always think, I have a Skype mindset where it's just simple, but with Zoom, it's not like that. What the hell's going on? Oh, oops. Be just a second here. Gotta get the ID for you guys. There it is. Meeting ID and okay, there we go. All right, there's the number right there. And before, I gotta hurry up and make it so you can't just join in without me unmuting you really quick. Okay, so when you come on, you can rename yourself too. Hey, thanks, Nona. Appreciate it. All right, so I do have a whole bunch more videos and that people filmed for me out at the location. All right. Yeah, a lot of photos too. You know, I've actually put these photos on the screen before, and then people go, wait, I see somebody down there. I see somebody. They literally say that in the comments. And it's like, yeah, it's a photo taken, you know, like, see, there's people down there. Who cares? It's not like this was taken the same day, right? There's people walking around on the bridge now because they're curious. They're going out there, right? Oh yeah, this right here is that damaged part of the side rail that makes up the white nodule that you see behind the suspect, or to his right actually. And this image here, those are actually, that's not a ghost back there, everybody. That's actually ribbons on the barricade there. And this is right when you walk down, you drop off at the parking area, you walk straight ahead and you come by this bench right here that looks out, and then you can take a left here. There's actually a trail that goes down, and then there's a left also. If you go left, you can go right to the bridge, and then there's another trail that goes out around behind down below. You can see those right here. So what you're looking at right there. See, I just like people to actually know exactly what they're dealing with. So right here is that bench is right there. So that left you're seeing would go down this trail. Just prior to that would be the trail that goes to the bridge itself. There's another trail here that goes down and around, and you can actually see that it kind of winds around like this and then goes to a little area right here where you can look at the river. And you can kind of walk around like this, and then you're on that side of the river. You don't ever make it to the other side of the river going down that other trail. Now this trail, you go to the bridge here. Hey, thanks, Miss Mola. Yeah, I think they knew the area. I agree with that.
Awesome work.
I just don't know if there's somebody that was there for a few days and got to know the area, Or were they somebody that had, somebody messaged me earlier with something about maybe they lived there earlier in life and knew the area and then left, but then came back and they still know the area because it hasn't changed much. You see? So make sure, if you guys have anything you want to talk about, call in. I've got the Zoom is open. All right, so it always takes somebody to start it off. Because last night we had a ton of callers near the end, but it could be that everybody's all called out. Oh man, look at those last 3 digits, everybody. Oh man, 666. Maybe nobody wants to dial that. And I think this is also on the northwest side, walking around. Yeah, I'm almost positive actually. So where this would be, this shot right here, see the river down there? Now this right here is actually on the side that the girls were found on because it's like this, watch. They're walking around this where there's a steep bank on this side. So somebody just exited the trail here. I've seen Randy. He has videos where he walks through the woods over in this area. And he actually walks all the way over to the cemetery. Okay? You can tell it's really steep terrain right there, but if you keep walking up on the high flat spot, you can come down here and it's not quite as bad going down over here. But that shot you just saw is somewhere around in this area. Probably kind of looks like it might be over here. Let's look at that again. Yeah, it's hard to tell, but the river kind of looks like it slightly turns and goes that way. So yeah, it's probably like right here-ish. It could even be right here, and there's that little bit of a turn right there. So they're getting pretty close. These are images by Bonnie, by the way. And let's see, what else we got here? I think that's probably from Freedom Bridge area. See, the thing is, I've never been there, but I can just, by looking at this stuff so many times, I think that that's exactly where that is. I would imagine that that shot was probably taken, you know, right over here, you know, looking out over that freeway. Let's just see if that even looks the same. Yeah, see how the road is out further right there? So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lanes. And then you go to Google Earth and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that shot was taken right here at Freedom Bridge. So I'm going to tell you right now, if I went there, I wouldn't get lost. But apparently if you listen to some people, no, if you haven't been there, man, you can't talk about it. Oh boy. And this is that other trail. See this right here, the 505 steps. The other one's I think 501. This is 505. You go down this trail right here. Now there's a YouTuber out there that started talking about garrots and crap like that. That's the trail he went down, but he kept telling everybody, oh God, it was probably right in this area. Well, he wasn't even close. He was literally like a mile away, half mile away from where the girls were found. All right, so I'm just kind of running through these images here. And here's a pretty good shot. I think this is right off near the end of the bridge. And if this shot was about a foot, 2 feet to the right of this, it'd be absolutely perfectly aligned of where Libby was. Maybe a foot or two back from this. But you can see right there, there's the white nodule. All right. See, we call it a white nodule because it looks like that. See that right there? This is what we're always talking about. That right there is just damaged side rails that go on for like 2 meters. But it looks bunched together from back in the distance. So you've got the platform, number 5, the forked tree, and then the nodule, we call it. And in reality, it's not a nodule, but it looks like something like that when you're watching it. You know what I should do is open up, I'm going to open up the walk cycle again. It's always good to have that out just to be able to play it. Well, I wish I could have solved it in 3 days, but it didn't happen. It's been, I don't, the thing is, I don't try to claim to be able to solve cases, but what we do here is we put together what happened kind of almost in real time, so we're right up to date, other than the obviously when law enforcement's investigating, they have stuff that we never get to know, but we're able to put stuff together and make assumptions that end up being accurate. Right, so here we go. On this image right here, you can see that little white nodule on the side there. Right there, and then there's the platform, and then the forked tree. Now, when you look at that, you go, well, gosh, it looks like the camera's way off to the right. But it's really not like that. It really isn't. If you take an image, let's see, let me open that one up again, like this. See, right now, it's not exactly the right angle because the camera needs to be over 2 feet, but look, it's already a sharp angle. Look at that angle and this angle. It's already sharp. So if you just move the camera over about 2 feet, you get this exact angle. And then you sort of picture that Libby was out the end of the bridge filming, and the suspect's about right here in the shot, just past this platform. He's right about, let's see, about right here. And they just cropped that part out. That's the only part that we're seeing. I don't know if she had it zoomed in a little bit. It's possible, but I don't know if somebody would have time to think about zooming, when somebody's rushing in on them. All right, let's see. Anybody in there? Nope, nobody's called yet. The lines are open, everybody. If you got any thoughts, any crazy theories, you can put them out there. Well, he said, I remember when I was talking to the prosecutor back then, he said, well, you should come out here. Yeah, maybe, it was kind of like the way he was talking was that he would, maybe I could see it, but I just can't have a copy of it. He did say that. But I think after that, they started getting really tight-lipped and nothing was being shared, and they didn't share any of that stuff with the public. And then he actually resigned as the prosecutor, saying that he would only come back if they needed help on the Delphi case. And then he came back for a little bit as a assistant. Let's see. Maybe I'll turn on the notification bell. Play, enter, and exit chime. There you go. That way I won't miss it if you come in. What about family members of surrounding landowners that grew up in that whole setting? Yeah, don't you think law enforcement, though, is checked into all that kind of stuff? Seriously? I'm just saying. I think some of that stuff seems like it'd be like almost the first thing that they would do be to check in on the property owners, family members. Apparently they went around and got DNA from everybody. Yeah. Well, they do stuff like that, Amber, so. I think they checked DNA for a lot of people, which was interesting because what were they going to compare it to if they didn't have DNA? Yeah, you would think, and most of the time they do that. We do know cases where they don't do some of the basic stuff, but this case here isn't a typical case where you've got lazy officers. This is a huge case that has the FBI, all kinds of different agencies involved, and I'm sure that they've done that type of work. Wouldn't you think that would make sense? Yeah, this isn't a case where they're going to fumble things around a lot. I think they just got to a point where they were at a dead end, so they thought they would go with the original sketch. You know, maybe they even went back and interviewed the person and talked to them and said, how sure are you about this? And then they made a decision, well, let's go with that. I know there's a lot of people that think it's the Garrett Kurtz guy. Right? I am actually looking into somebody actually said he was in jail at the time. So if that's true, it can't be Garrett Kurtz, right? So when I get the answer to that question, I'll let you guys know. I actually called the jail that he supposedly was in. Because now it sounds like they're getting to the point now where Garrett Kurtz was basically an adopted son of Ron Logan. I mean, what hasn't Ron Logan done, really, for these people? All right, here we go. All right, a second. Are you on there, Delusional? Can you hear me? It's weird because you're not. I can't actually unmute you. Like when I click on your. You'll have to call back in, I guess. Let me do this one. 513, you're on the air.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but for some reason Delusional came in. Something didn't work right with hers.
All right, well, this is the Dozer guy, Paul Dickerson.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Yeah, I was just wondering because at the end of the call where Kenny was talking, you said we should try to get in touch with Jerry Holman, and I'm just wondering how would we go about doing that?
Well, you just contact the Delphi police and say that you need to talk to him. You want to you have some information for him. He's a detective. Hey, by the way, Delusional, if something's not working when you come in, there's nothing available to unmute you or anything. It's just sort of a block there. I could try it. Oh, there it is. It's working now. Okay, leave it there. All right, go ahead. Yeah, I mean, just get a hold of him. Just call over there.
Okay. So is he like the lead investigator or something on the?
Well, he's one of the main. You know, it seems like it. I mean, he was sent. He actually went to the FBI for a month or so, even more, I think, for training, and then he came back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I kind of looked him up to see. It said something about Indiana State Police, so I didn't know if he was a trooper or with the Delphi police or what.
Yeah, I mean, but it sounds like you guys are really sure, so you need to get a hold of somebody. I think sending stuff into the tip line isn't working for you guys. So
I feel like we're just getting buried, and I have a lot of information and it's organized. I've sent them organized information, and if I get something new, I just resend the whole thing with the new info. But it just, I don't know. I kind of get the feeling like that. They just don't seem to, it's not registering. That's,
Yeah, well, I think you need to be like a squeaky wheel. If you really want to, you can get a hold of somebody over there. You just say, listen, I've got some information. I need one of these guys to call me.
Right.
And then keep doing it 5 days in a row. And then eventually somebody will get back to you. Either to keep you from calling over and over again, or they're really interested in what you have to say. But either way, you'll get somebody to listen.
Yeah, because I noticed those tip line numbers, they just all go straight to the FBI. That's just where they go. So
yeah.
So yeah, I know the one that says Carroll County Sheriff. I guess that there's that one, but I guess Delphi Police would have their own number. I have to look that up, I guess. Okay, all right. Well, that makes sense.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure.
Yeah, well, give him a
That's
call.
a big help.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
All right, Delusional, you're on.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good. It was weird the first time. There wasn't any options for me to unmute you. It's just sort of a square there. What's going on?
Oh, Nothing. I was asking people in the chat, give me a topic, and I'll bring it up. And somebody said, ask them when does this case go cold? And I've always known that a case goes cold when there's no leads.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know what the cops know.
Yeah, we're not going to know, if it's cold or not. They're still working leads, and even if there's no leads, even if there's no leads, they're going to keep working on stuff that they want to work on. I don't think there's ever going to. I think they're just going to keep working on this case. It's not cold. It's not even close.
Oh, absolutely. Due to the nature, the age of the victims, and the public.
Right. All right. Cool. Well, I got two more. I got some more calls coming in. Is there anything else you got, or? Well, it's too much delay. I'll see you back in the chat. All right, just a second. All right. 502, you're on the air.
Hey, Gray. I got a question for you. So since they said that they're just starting over now, just beginning,
yeah,
and the huge age range, 18 to 40, whatever they said. So how far off, in your opinion, are they of this guy?
Well, gosh, it's hard to say, right? Like if I went like this, I think the suspect is between 18 and 75. Well, gosh, I'm gonna nail that one, right? I mean, don't you think he's somewhere between there? So the thing is, it's hard to even know if they're off, right? Because 18 to 40, man, that's like everybody.
Actually, what I meant was how far off are they from catching this guy? Like, is narrowing it down. They're so far, they have such a wide age range, and they're just now saying we're just now beginning. And then Holman said in that interview you played last night that there's actually not that much evidence. So restating my question, I guess it's more how far off are they on the trail of this guy?
Well, I mean, being me, I wouldn't have any idea. I mean, to be honest with you, that's one of those things that only they would know how. I mean, I guess if they were close to on the trail, they'd be pretty excited. I mean, you might be less press conferencing, you wouldn't even hear from them because they'd be on to something really strongly. They could be on to something. I mean, if you listen to that press conference, they could be directing it specifically to one individual or some just threw it out there to see if somebody reacts to it. Sure. It almost seemed like they were speaking to somebody specifically. I just don't know. I wouldn't know unless I was working there. That's all the speculate. I can speculate on it. It just seems like that they're not really. It feels like they're not really close to anybody. It seems like they didn't have enough DNA. They could have actually had a perfect DNA profile of this person, and then when they loaded it up to GEDmatch, there just wasn't enough ancestry participation in genealogy that allowed them to narrow it down at all. And that happens a lot. Yeah,
you said Paul Holes said it was a tough case also. So
yeah, he said that on an interview at CrimeCon.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Gray. Appreciate it. Great work, man.
Hey, thanks a lot. Sorry I couldn't be more happy about that, but have a good one. All right. 443, you're on the air.
Hey, Gray, this is Saturnine.
Saturnine? Like Saturn?
Yeah, or Kelly, whichever.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Hey, how's it going?
Okay. I had just kind of an odd question. I just want to say I don't know the ins and outs of this case as much as you do. It's not one of my pet cases, so this might be something that's been answered, a million times before, but I don't know the answer. the rumor mill was saying that there was something unusual about the crime scene, and that's why the FBI was called in early in the case.
Well, that's what I've always said. I mean, I always said it seems like the FBI was called in early because there was something unusual about the crime scene. But later on, it seems like the FBI jumps on board really quickly on missing children cases very quickly. So I don't know if that's the element. They were missing, but then they were found. And even after they were found, the FBI got in really quickly. And I think they also they have so many other tools that regular law enforcement do not have. And we've seen that in many cases. They come up with just incredible intel that you never actually know how the hell they did that. It's amazing.
Right. I guess my second one's more of an observation than a question. I know you can't really make out too much of the guy's face in the video, but to me, you can see a resemblance between the first sketch and the guy in the video, as opposed to the second one. So I mean, that second one really just throws me for a loop. I can't see any kind of resemblance between that one and the guy in the video, even though the quality's not the greatest.
Yeah. I wish we had the original video because every time when they compress it down and then
more pixelated.
Yeah, you start putting compression in there, you lose information. So they have the original one. So in my case, when I made this video that you're seeing on the screen, I took the video that they released recently right off their website. You can download the video. I downloaded it. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what generation that is even. That could have been the third time that's been processed. So I got it, and then I exported it out in Adobe Premiere as single frames. So every frame was exported out as a single frame. Then I brought it, Then I brought them back into Adobe Premiere and then made them, each one of them was stacked on top of each other, and I put a transparency for each frame, and then that's how I lined up right to the frame below on the forked tree, the branches. And then I would make it full. Then I would make it totally opaque again, and then I would put the one above that one, and just went through all 60-something frames, and that's how you got the stabilized one that I came up with. So
and yeah, that one guy said you put in what, 10 hours?
Yeah, well, he says in the total case that I've barely put any time in at all, and I can tell you right now that I've put in hundreds and hundreds of hours of just my extra time.
With that video, yeah.
Well, this video here, this probably took me 4 hours just to do this thing. I mean, but I've done so many other videos. I mean, that animation one took, 50 hours doing that.
That one's great, yeah.
Yeah, so there's just a whole bunch like that, So I don't know why people say the things that they do, but they do. They actually say them.
I think our mistake is looking for logic.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of crazy people on the internet.
Yeah, what's weird?
Well,
I was going to say when you're looking at this video and you play it, you play it. It's just pretty odd. Sometimes right around the mouth area. You see that white thing, but there's I don't know if that's a beard. I always thought that was a goatee of some sort, maybe some chin hair, but maybe he doesn't
Honestly, his face is like a Rorschach test. Every time I look at it, I see something different.
Yeah, and it's such bad quality. That's the part that's unfortunate, is how absolutely bad this is. Now, here's something that you might keep in mind, everybody, is the video that we're seeing right now could have been moving all over the place. And they actually made a video that was reasonable to watch. That's why some of the frames are so blurry, because it's moving a lot. So they actually put them together, and then I went another step and had the bridge stay still, so you can see the way he moves on the bridge. So, but I don't know. You can't make out his face very well. So you've got these people who zoom in on the face, chop half the face out, and then flip it. Combine them together, now he looks like an alien, but they'll put underneath it, "This is the killer." Well, that's who you think it is, but he doesn't look like that. I guarantee he doesn't have a line down the middle of his face with its really pointy nose and the pointy eyes because there's a shadow under his eyes. Like he's got Ray-Ban sunglasses on. I guarantee it that. Yeah. So, anyways.
It's going to be interesting if they ever do catch him, what he actually looks like. Like my pet case was always the East Area rapist.
Yeah.
And the composite that he ended up looking like was one that no one would have ever thought was a legit one. So,
right. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just going to have to see what happens.
Yep. All right. Well, hey, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. All right. We'll see you in the chat.
All right. See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. 859, you're on the air. People call in and they keep dumping out, by the way. So stay on. I see your numbers on the screen. But 859, you're on the air there.
Hi, Greg. It's Linda. I think that's me.
Yep, that's you.
I'm actually in Cincinnati, but I have that fake phone number from across the river.
Oh, cool.
I got a couple of questions and a comment. One is, I see a lot of comments about somebody must know something. I know the police said that, and they probably think that because of the profile, but
right.
It's not necessarily.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he might have slipped in and out, and people saw stuff, and maybe they reported that. They probably have if they're inundated. But just the assumption that if we just beat on it hard enough, somebody's going to confess something. Well, if there's only one guy involved and he's the only one who knows about it, probably not. It's probably going to be DNA that catches him.
Yeah.
I hate to see the beating on the families and stuff,
Yeah, it's also like in the East Area rapist case and April Tinsley, nobody knew anything. See, you have there's killers out there. When people say somebody had to know, well, not one person knew that those two people were killing people. Right?
It's going to be forensic science in those kind of cases that's going to catch them.
Yeah, and then unfortunately that takes a long time. So it might be, so if it is the case where they have a good DNA sample from this guy, but he's just not showing up in GED match, they might have to wait for years and years until randomly a family member happens to upload to that, and then boom, they
right.
can, if it ends like that. But it's crazy because you actually have a video of the guy and his voice.
Yeah, that's the good thing about this case.
Yeah.
Is there is that. No matter how much we have crazy analysis of the face, there is that. I mean, that's a lot more than we get in a lot of other cases. As bad as that video is, at least we can see somebody was there that day.
Yeah, you can actually see somebody there. You can tell looks like he's Caucasian. I think he's about 5'6" to 5'8". That's my opinion.
That was one of my questions. There was an analysis that you did, and you upload so many videos, and I just do not have the time to dig and watch because they're pretty lengthy.
Yeah.
There was a 5'10" woman who was standing on the side platform. In your best analysis, what was his height? Because you guys did a really good analysis on that.
Yeah, well, I don't have a team or anything like that, but you've got a guy like you're talking about. Harvey Carroll did one where there's a girl standing on a platform, and he made this fake little triangle.
He said he got
thing.
it from your video. I just had missed your video.
No, but I think in the video he used he took a clip from my video and put it into his video, but then early on in another portion of the video, he had this girl standing on, I think it was platform 1, and he claims she's 5'10", and that.
I thought you did that, Grace.
Well, I did the part in the video where I did the part in the video where you see the suspect standing on the bridge, and I fill in the rest of the bridge. Like, I took the actual.
Okay.
So when you watch that video that you're talking about, he took that part from mine, and that's how I kind of figured it out. Because I actually had all when Beth went out to the bridge, I had her measure every single thing, the width between the side rail and side rail, the width all the way out to the far edges, the height of the side rails.
The height of the platform?
Or 4 inches. Yeah, so the thing is, the side rails are 4 inches, and the platforms are the same height as that. But see, I didn't care. I didn't use somebody standing on the side rail. I actually used the suspect. So I took the video and then added in the rest of the bridge. I found an angle that was exactly the same, put it in there, lined it up, and then I just put in the measurements and then sort of rotated him, and then all of a sudden ended up with, like, I think it was between 5'6" and 5'8". Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. Because so 5'10" is, in your view, probably out.
I don't think
I realize
he was 5'10".
You could be an inch or so off either way, but 5'6" to 5'8".
Yeah, I might say,
interesting.
I think 5'10" is too tall, but like maybe 5'6" to 5'9" as an outside. It's hard to. I'll have to go dig up that video. You're right, though. When I do my show, sometimes they're really long, and it's hard to find that one part. Some people get really frustrated on that.
This title one, analysis of the height, the bridge guy. Then I could find it.
Yeah, but see, in that video, it might not
I really think it would
just
be very helpful to have a detailed analysis, because that range that they gave is pretty darn large. 5'8" the average height for an American male. And he seems taller to me. There's something about the way he walks that reminds me of my sons, who are 6'5" and 6'6".
Mm-hmm.
There's just something about the way he walks, and I know they say he's stepping over gaps and all that, but still, there's just something about the way he holds his weight or something.
Yeah, I think
he call it a lanky walk.
Well, I think he looks short because his legs aren't very long. He seems.
His legs aren't long, but his upper body seems longer than it.
But maybe his upper body is the right length, but his legs are short, so that would make him kind of short. But who knows? I mean, he could be a really big guy with, like, there's the player on the Blazers that broke his leg. He kind of has short. He's almost 7 feet tall, but his legs are somewhat short, which is weird, right? He has like a really big torso,
which is odd. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's almost 7 feet.
All right,
so.
another question that you've probably already analyzed. I was just trying to understand the cemetery. There was something you showed a couple of nights ago that it finally clicked. That place isn't that far. So from the point where the girls were found to the cemetery, let's say somebody drove all the way back in the cemetery, and the car that's out there isn't the car that they're talking about.
Right.
If somebody drove all the way back, is that about a quarter mile from as far back as you can get before you hit the gate in the cemetery to where the girls were found? Is that roughly a quarter mile? I haven't seen any measurements.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a lot less than that, actually. It's well, I'll do yards. I don't know why I had meters. Who the hell knows what a meter? That's 243 yards, so it's an eighth of a mile, basically.
Wow, that is close.
Yeah, so that's why it's a short walk there. And then if you walked out all the way to the road from where they were, it's only a quarter of a mile. So where the bodies were found to the road is a quarter of a mile. And then let's say he walked down. Let's say he walked down 300, and then went back to his car and drove away. But apparently, if he parked there, he probably walked over here and then got onto the trail by the Freedom Bridge and walked all the way down this way. Leaving, though, he might have gone up this way and walked down the street there. And at that time, nobody's going to be paying attention to him because he's just a guy walking, and nobody's out there going, "Oh my God, there's somebody missing. Who is this guy?"
But even knew they were gone at that point.
Right. So there might be people who noticed him but weren't paying as great of attention. Obviously, seems like there's some witnesses that saw his face, so those might be people who literally saw him on the trail. I don't think if you were driving by, though, you'd really see his face that clearly.
No.
But maybe.
Yeah, I don't think you would either.
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't be. There would have to be something that called into your attention, unless you have a photographic memory. If you get a chance at some point when you're doing this series, could you talk about there's somebody who has a house around there, some woman who didn't want to be identified, and I thought that was covered on your channel a little bit, but in relation to the cemetery, where was that? I'm not looking at it right now because I got everything turned down.
Well, I think that's her house right here.
I'm on my phone.
So it's from her house to the crime scene is 174 yards. and then
Wow.
but you have to go across the creek at that point, and then it's to the cemetery way down closer to the river. That part of the cemetery is 397 yards, and then out to the road it's 573 yards. So a little over a quarter mile. Everything's really close.
That's really, really, really close. Yeah, everything's close.
See, that's what I'm trying to tell when everybody says.
I'll go back and watch this.
Yeah, like
one other thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
If anybody from Delphi, that general area, I'm going to do this. I have to go to Wisconsin a couple of times in July, but I go up I-65, and I did notice the Delphi exit, of course, because I'm paying attention to the case a few weeks ago when I was through there. So I'm just wondering, I'm going to take the exit, but if somebody could just comment who's from the area, if you take the I-65 exit on 25, which is that main route that leads by the trails, that highway that we've been talking about.
Well,
if you
who's
take
your
that
highway,
main
right?
exit, there is something that says Delphi 14 miles. I can read that from Google, but I can't make out if they advertise the trails from I-65. So if somebody were to take that exit, would they see that and then go for it? Could you even see that? Because thoroughfares I just always feel like serial killers in the United States take the interstates a lot. Some of them are truck drivers. I don't think so in this case, but some of them are. And I'm just wondering, is it possible to see that from a main thoroughfare? Because Delphi is not on the main route. 25 is not really a main route.
Yeah.
Cut through, it's not a main route, but I-65 is a very main route through the United States. It goes all the way down, through Kentucky and Tennessee and everything. And it's packed down there, so it's a busy highway. So I was just wondering, is there a chance somebody could have seen that? On the other hand, I do agree, somebody had to have known the area. You couldn't have lucked into that, to figure out how to park your car down in the cemetery, get up on the trail, watch for a victim, cross the bridge, get them across the creek,
Yeah, I mean, the question is how did they know the area?
Right.
Like, how
what
did
do
they?
You think?
Well, I mean, it could be a million things. He could have lived there as a kid, came back. Could have been that he lived near there and had been there sometimes. Maybe he just got into town. He's working sort of a shorter job stint and went there, walked around for a little bit, and thought, this is a great place to. And
right.
So he got to know it. I mean, if you're somebody that's been there 6 or 7 times over a couple years and you walk down across the bridge, you might not know it as well as somebody who went there for 4 or 5 days in a row and walked all around in all the different areas to get a feel for the lay of the land. So I don't know if the person was there prior, like the day before, or is there any witnesses that saw him on a different day, or are all the witnesses only on that day? We don't know.
Right.
Yeah. So.
Good point.
But it does seem like it. But I guess it's just sort of, how do you know how he was aware of the area? See, that's so hard.
Like you said, it could have been many different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Okay. Well,
right.
I really appreciate you covering this, Gray. I'm pretty stuck on this case for some reason. I'm just like, I hate that happens to those girls, and I just, that I think they probably have the evidence, but he's not in the database because he's never been caught before.
Right. And maybe no family members have done DNA.
Right.
Submitted their DNA to like Ancestry.com or 23andMe, any of that stuff. So we don't know.
Yeah.
I wish we actually had the answers for those questions. It would be great, but we don't.
It would. We will get them.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, we will. We'll get the answers. All right. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Gray.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, 765, you're on the air.
Hi, Gray. How are you?
Not too bad. Who's this?
This is Lisa.
Hello, Lisa.
I know this has probably been talked about before, but I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on it. But I live in Indiana, and I know a lot of people have concealed carry permits here.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of people are speculating that the bridge guy had a gun. And I'm just wondering, you know, do you think that, like, law enforcement's able to go through that kind of code status to see, like, if they could find fingerprints or touch DNA type stuff?
Well, I mean, I don't know what question you're asking related to the firearm now. What do you...
Well, I mean, if he had a firearm, a lot of people, he would most likely have a concealed carry permit unless he's just a criminal. So you would think he would be in the database for people who have gotten concealed carry permits.
Yeah, could be, but I mean, it doesn't look like he's... I don't know. It's hard to say that he's... They might have checked something like that, but it's hard to know if he's got a concealed carry permit to do what he's doing. I mean, even if he didn't have a concealed carry permit, he'd probably still have the gun underneath his jacket to hide it until he got up onto his victims.
Right, I see what you're saying. I'm just saying it is possible that he could, you know, have fingerprinted, because they fingerprint every finger and your hand palm and everything.
But I don't know if they would. I really think it would be tough to have got any fingerprints from that crime scene to compare it to, right?
True.
It just seems like I don't have any proof of that, but it's hard. Leaving a fingerprint on clothing almost seems impossible. I know that there's probably some crazy technique the FBI has out there, but I'm almost certain that there was a gun involved at the end of the bridge there.
That's what I was thinking too. All right, that's the only question I had.
All right, well, thanks for calling in.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, 319, you're on the air.
Hi, Grace. This is Karen K.
Karen K.
Yes. No, I just wanted to. I love your work. I've watched all the mixtape things, although it's kind of funny now, like when you look back on them, because
my voice
it was robotic.
Yeah.
And now that I see you and everything, and I'm like, oh my God! So I do laugh at those.
I don't know why I didn't do that. I didn't. It was just one day I just tried making a video with my voice, and it went okay. It's not. I don't think I have like the greatest voice in the world or anything like that, but it's so much easier.
Radio voice, for sure.
Oh, really? Oh.
It's great.
I don't hear it when I listen to myself, but people do have said that.
Definitely radio voice.
But
no, I just wanted. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying I finally ended up using it, and then it made it so much easier, because when you do the computer-generated voices, you have to like write out a whole script, and then have it play it, and then record it. Where I don't really have to have a script; I can just have ideas in my head, and then talk about it. Although, when I make videos, it's better to have a script. When you're just making a straight-up video, but when you're live, there's really no need for a script. I mean, it would sound weird if I was like, hey, hold on. What was your question you asked? Okay, hold on. Manage your account and printer information to the user. It would be weird to be reading canned answers. Oh, my computer's yelling at me again, by the way. All right, there you go.
Okay.
So what do you got? Well, I have a computer that actually yells. It says, "Gray, check your email." Gray, check your email, so that I won't miss it. If I don't hear that, I miss emails from people. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So there you go. Anyways, what was the thought that you have?
No, I just I think your work is great and everything, and I do I totally get the frustrations that you have, like when people throw out like just, stupid crap. It's just so frustrating. I'm from Iowa, and I'm actually friends with Drew from the Iowa case. So,
okay. Yeah, I've actually communicated with him. Oh, you're the one that sent me that? Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay, cool.
But anyway, I can understand the frustrations, and I guess, you know, when you get close to a case, and I'm not saying that you're like so close and all this, so for the chat people, I don't want them to think anything, but when you get close to the family or you talk to the family and stuff, and someone throws such an absurd something out there, you do tend to take it personally, no matter what case you do. And I know you like really research your cases. So, I mean, I totally get that.
I spent a lot of time with the material. Like, I spent a lot of time. Hold on. There's somebody, you can't hear it, but somebody sent in a donation.
Gray,
hold on.
as I'm
they asked a
kind of
question.
Not sober, I want to call in, but I will likely slur. Is there a reason why they reduced his age? He looks no younger than 37. Sure.
It says, Hola, Gray, as I'm kind of not sober. I want to call in, but I will likely slur. Is there a reason why they reduced his age? He looks no younger than 37. Well, they probably reduced the age because that original sketch that was made just 2 days after around 2 days after the murders looks like a really young person. So they said 18 to 40, but he could be older. He just looks young. Okay? So I think that's why they changed it up, because that new sketch, let's put it this way. If they put out that new sketch and they said, we think he's 35 to 50, wouldn't you look at that sketch and go, God, that guy looks like he's 20, right? It wouldn't match the sketch if they'd said 35 to 45 at all. You'd look at that sketch and be, gosh, he looks like a young Tom Cruise. How could that be 35? Anyways, all right. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. Like when you get to know the family members and you talk to them, it's not like there's not a possibility that you could be being duped by them, but I'd be shocked out of my mind if there was something like that, because I actually know them. You know, I've talked to them. I mean, I don't know them really well. I know Becky a lot better than I know Mike, but I've talked to Mike quite a number of times. I think 3 or 4 times now, and he just seems like a caring person. That he worked with Libby all the time on her sports and hunting, and you know, you can tell it's not going to be Mike there, because Libby wouldn't be like, oh God, let me film down low. I'm nervous. Okay, she would know who it was. That's the part that I think is absurd.
Yeah, and ludicrous, because first of all, if police and detectives and FBI travel around with that family on different shows and things, I mean, do you really think that they're going to travel around with Mike and be up on a stage like Dr. Phil or Megyn Kelly or...
Yeah, and they seem like they're friends, too. And it seems like they, when you're watching them, like at CrimeCon, you watch them on the side, they're joking around and talking with, you know, the officer, you know, the police. He's dressed all casual and he's talking to Mike, and they're like friends that have worked on something together for 2 years.
Right, exactly. And I mean, heck, at CrimeCon, they took him, or HLN went out to eat with them. So I just wish that kind of stuff would stop, because, you know, not trying to talk about the Iowa case, but it's here too. I mean, people are always like saying stuff behind Drew, or, you know, it's like, no, get off of it. You know, it's so frustrating when people say stuff like that. Or with Derek. I mean, there are just some people that tragic things happen to that they don't want to have their face out there. They don't want to, you know, get in the media, you know. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I know everybody has a different way of thinking, but if you have logical thinking, then you don't think that way. So they're idiots.
All right.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Idiots are everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like when I first called, I was going to joke around, but I figured you'd hang up on me because I was going to say, I'm the alien and I didn't do it.
Well, I wouldn't have hung up. I would have laughed. I would have gotten it. All right. But
okay.
All right. Well, I got another caller's calling in, but hey, I appreciate you calling in and the kind words.
Greg. You bet.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. All right, bye. All right, 3, 2, 1, you're on the air. Hello. 3, 2, 1. Hello.
Hi, Greg.
Yeah, you got to turn down the audio in the background.
Yep. I thought there was 2 waiting because it said there was 2 waiting. Sorry, this is Mama Bear 22 or Lisa.
Hey.
How are you?
Hey, pretty good.
I have a question for you. Now, I don't know. I've only been listening, I think, about 2 months. Do you know, have they ever said if they found any...
Wait, can you hold on one second? Because somebody just donated and is talking over you, so hold on.
Justice and hope.
Sorry about
with
that.
all help,
I'll turn it
get
off here just a second. I'm going to just turn off the... Yeah, there you go. All right, so go ahead. Sorry about that.
You're okay. I'm patient. You know, have they ever said, did they ever find any items from the bridge guy at the scene? Have they ever said anything like that?
Well, I mean, it was weird because in that interview we watched yesterday with Holman, he said they didn't have very much, what was it? Much information. What was it? They didn't have a lot of evidence. And then later on, he started talking about how they had a lot of evidence at the crime scene. So I don't know how it got switched around like that.
Okay, good. I wasn't the only one that caught that.
Yeah, because I think
wondering.
So I think his first response was probably the truth, and then the second one, he was realizing, well, we got to make the person think that we had more, right? So he said it again. That's kind of what I think was going on. But I think they just have so little information that they're just basically the best thing that they have, I bet, is the video and the audio. That's it. That's probably their best piece of evidence. And there might be some DNA somewhere, but it's got to be not very good. Weak. That's what... See, somebody contacted me a long time ago that turned out to be right on about 3 or 4 other things that were really like, whoa, nobody knows that. And actually, and the funny thing is I had it in one of my videos, some of the stuff that guy said. And then Holman, I don't remember if he called me or I called him or how it worked, but he wanted to talk to me about how I got that information. Oh. And so, but I wouldn't tell him the source at that time because I was like, gosh, I don't want to get somebody in trouble or anything. So, but then I told later on, I think, well, how did that work? Yeah, I don't remember if I told him later. But anyways,
you got that too.
Yeah, nope, I definitely heard that part. Yeah.
Okay, and then I am a mom, and you might yell at this one. Did you eat dinner? Anyway.
I have not eaten dinner yet, but this is only going to... Well, gosh, I think... Now it looks like it might go to like 8.
Okay.
I wasn't going to end it at 7:30, but that's too quick now. That's right away.
Right. I'm a mom, and I can tell you, if I've called all the friends and we've been out searching, there is no way anybody would get me away from there without continuing to search. So I'm just curious. I mean, I'm just saying that from being a mom. I can guarantee you, if Blue was out there, would you leave him?
No, it'd be tough. Well, the family, the family and friends looked all night, I guess, but the police called off their portion.
Okay, so the family and friends did look all night. It was just the police were not there.
Yep.
And it makes me suspicious that they found something much more interesting that they had to call the FBI. But I did hear in one of the news that the reason they called the FBI is there's such a small town there that they've never had something like this. So they called in the people so it wouldn't get botched, basically.
Yeah.
Is what I heard. But I didn't know if you heard anything about that.
I did not.
Okay.
I think the
All
police
right.
probably that first night were thinking that that they just went somewhere else. I mean,
they were goofing around and not calling in.
Yeah.
They're teenagers. They do that.
Yeah, it's just that part frustrates me though, that they didn't look throughout the night with hell, they could have had helicopters up there with FLIR technology on it, looking around. I know that stuff costs a lot of money, but in some ways it's almost better that it was daytime though. Could you imagine? I think if you came across a scene like that at night, I think you would probably have PTSD way worse than in the daytime, because at least you sort of could. Yeah, I think it would freak you out. Honest to God, at that same on that same night, people coming across a crime scene like that. I mean, I know it's sort of a small little thing, but I feel like wow, it would just be it would just freak you out, because I think people, when they were looking that first night, had their flashlights out, maybe beaming it at a perpendicular. I mean, at parallel to the ground, and just calling out their names, like Abby, Libby, hey, you out there? Because they thought they were still alive. They weren't looking at the ground, perhaps buried under leaves, something like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Hey, did you hear that, everybody? She said correct.
And I agree.
I'm just kidding. That correct thing is one of the things I joke about when people say, correct, Gray. Correct. I always tell the story.
I keep saying it.
I'm saying it's one of my. I don't like it. I'm not blaming you, because the thing is when I was at this job one time, and this lady, she didn't know a damn thing about what to do, so she'd come up to me and go, "Hey, so how do you do this? How do you do this? How do you do this?" And I'd be telling her the whole time, and then she'd say out loud, "Correct, correct." Yeah, correct. And that way, everybody walking by would think she was helping me, right? As if I was asking her a question and she'd say, correct, correct. So there's like a running, I haven't said it all the time. It's not like oogla boogla or something like that. But when people say correct, it's like, oh God, Jesus. Flashbacks.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm a behavior analyst, so that's why I do that, because I work with kids on the autism spectrum, we repeat things a lot. So I'll remember that, though.
Hey, let me ask you, since you work with kids on that, I read some articles on, Asperger's. There's been these murders in the few different cases with people with Asperger's, and I remember seeing that the sociopath wrote an article saying, it was just kind of this weird article, something about sociopaths are Asperger's keeper or some reverse of that. I don't remember the name of it, but it was interesting how he was talking about how being a sociopath doesn't have the same protection and sort of what do you call it? When anybody is autistic, there's sort of this acceptance of how they are, but when there's a sociopath, doesn't get that. But he says there's a similarity there where they have lack of empathy, things like that, in the Asperger.
That's correct. And let me tell you, with autism, they actually call it autism now. They got rid of Asperger's altogether.
Okay.
And I will tell you, I have a 19-year-old son that's autistic. That's why I went into this work. And so I can tell you, they lack empathy. Not all, but a lot of them do. And the reason is it's usually the frontal lobe of your brain is your reasoning. It is your reasoning center. And so what happens with a lot of kids with autism is they can take in the information, but they don't process it the same way we do. Their neurons and their nerves are set up a little differently. Now, with the psychopaths, I will tell you, I'm not saying that my son could not do that. There are times when I have seen him change, and I can't believe I'm being very honest with your group there. He was 7 years old and jumped off a 3-story balcony, and I caught him at the bottom, but he had he just did not process that if we go off that 3rd story, this could happen. And a psychopath, the reason I told you this side of the story is a psychopath would be like, I really don't care. I'm just going to go. You know, but when you have the autism, this is the easiest way to explain it. When you have autism, they don't realize the consequence at the bottom. The psychopath knows the consequence, doesn't care.
And a sociopath probably does too, right? Like they would know.
That is correct.
Right, but they might have
all different.
Right, but like that guy, what was his name? So right now it's just the autism spectrum, right? So now Asperger's. I don't know if is that a lower functioning or higher functioning?
Asperger's. It used to be in the neurology world, I'll just call it that, and the behavior world, psychology. It used to be that Asperger's is higher functioning. My son was considered Asperger's when they first diagnosed him at 7. Now when we go, it's just autism and different levels of autism. So, but they don't, insurance company, all of it, let me tell you, it just goes round and round. But in a child with autism, they just, if they walk into, say, a really loud room, my son does okay for like 10 minutes, and then he's done. So, but it definitely, the best way to describe the psychopath is they know the end result, where with autism, they just think they're going to go down, and the processing part of their brain is different.
So when you get people like Adam Lanza and what was that one guy, Elliot Roger, something like that.
Yes.
That kid.
Yes.
They had that, but they might not have had thought through the consequences of it, but they still were able to kill without really easily for them and not feel bad about it. It was just really cold, right?
Right. It's really hard, especially for people that are diagnosed on the spectrum. Okay, it is really hard because you get different levels. There are some autistic kids or adults that can go out, they can be part of the world and do different things and, be part of it and you wouldn't know. And there are other ones that are severely, and when I say severely, it just means that they don't have the functioning brain.
Yeah. I think I've seen, like, you'll see sometimes when they do the repetitive movements, like spin a plate and their arms flap around following the plate spinning, like that's probably a lesser functioning, right? On the spectrum.
It can be, yes. It can be. Absolutely.
I remember when I actually dated this lady, she had a child that was on the spectrum. And he kind of scared me a little bit. Like we go. I went fishing one time, and I caught a fish, and I said, "Hey, look, here, you want to hold it?" And he put it in his hand, and he just squeezed it to death. Like his first thought was just crushed it, And it was just wow.
It is when they say in the news or somebody with on the spectrum does something like this. It does not surprise me, okay? I have, this kiddo can be very, very good, or he can turn. I mean, you tell him he's not graduating high school this year, and he just changes, and it's like a snap. It's the only way I can describe it. Their eyes get really dark.
Yeah.
He gets really, I mean, he buried my oldest son in his bedroom with a couch and 2 chairs by himself at 12 years old.
Wow.
It's just unreal, their strength. It's like the Hulk. It really is. I mean, they turn. And so, one of my biggest reasons for going into this field was, how can I help my son so that I don't have to worry about him attacking somebody. I mean, my biggest concern now is, yes, he can work, but is he going to hurt somebody if they say something that he doesn't like? It's a real difficult.
But here's the thing: is I really appreciate your conversation, because you're one of the ones that you're just realistically talking about it, where there's so many people out there that make excuses at every turn. There is an excuse. They don't know what the end game is. What the result is. Is that what you're saying? That they don't know what the
right.
Say it again. What was the term that you used? They don't know the
okay, so the
consequences. So they're not aware of the consequences. Yep. But don't you think that they actually know what right and wrong is, though? Like, they know it's not right to kill somebody, right? So it's kind of strange. Not everybody, huh?
No. Not everybody.
Well, they were told that, though, right? Like, they
when
know.
When you're talking autism, you're...
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, we have a delay, so it's going to happen. Go ahead.
When you... The thing with... When their brain is wired differently with people with autism or brain injury, anything like that. Brain injury, autism, their brains are wired differently, so they don't always come to facts like we do. This is a good way to describe it. You have a toddler. He puts his hand on the stove. He gets burnt. He knows not to do that again. But with an autism, they may do it again because I can do it. And they don't realize the consequence of it.
Yeah. But I appreciate you being, because there's a lot of times you try to get into a conversation like this, and you just get called all kinds of names. Oh, you're bashing these people, and I'm not trying. I'm never trying to do that. I just want people to understand.
Ask the questions. I'm open. I actually wonder if, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but if BG guy has a little bit of issues, just by his voice, the way he's walking, the way he holds himself, because with behavior analysis, you really learn body language and stuff like that. And so I kind of think he may have some mental illness. I could be way off, but from working with people, I get the feeling. I mean, he was smart enough to scope everything out and do that, plan it, and do all of that. And what he did was heinous. There's no taking that back.
Well, I think anybody that does something like this, they're not normal.
They're not.
But they can be
right there.
Right, but they could be just. I think there's a lot of times they're just evil. Like, how do you classify somebody like Bundy? Right. I mean, he knew everything was right and wrong. He just wanted to do it, so he did it. So I think that's kind of what we're looking at here. But again, people who want to do something they know is wrong, and they'll kill because it satisfies some urge, that also kind of means like, wow, man, there's something that makes him different than other people.
I agree. I think that this guy is. I think he could obviously do this again because he got something out of it, obviously. And, it's definitely, just watching, it's really hard to explain about behavior, and, behavior analysis is extremely complicated in so many ways, but
you probably read the DSM-5, or is that what it's called? That manual?
Yes. Yeah. We work with kids. I work with pediatrics, but I'll tell you, one of the biggest things I learned was taking responsibility for this kid and making sure he got the therapies he needed. Me and my husband, thank goodness, have been married 23 years. And we've worked really hard with this kiddo. We've worked together. So it has not been easy, but...
Yeah.
You do what you got to do, and you take responbility.
Wait, what's your name? What's your what's your username again? I gotta write it down so I can.
Oh, I'm Mama Bear.
Oh,
22.
Mama Bear. Oh,
I can give you, I can give you my name. It's Lisa.
Okay, but maybe you can.
I sent you an email already on the press conference for the one you did earlier, so you'll have it.
All right. Well, it'd be cool to.
I was going to talk to you because you're coming to Orlando, and I was going to tell you I live here. If you wanted to ship your shirts to me, I'll bring them down to you.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. There you go. Well, I'm not. They wouldn't be for me. It'd be for all the freaks that actually show up. I could bring them.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I would be more than happy to do that.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So you have my email. If you need me to do anything, I'm here. So, but I worked in pediatrics in the emergency room for 5 years. And they always pulled me for the special needs kids. So I love what I do.
Well, great. And what would be cool is to get you on, if we have a case that has some aspect of this again.
Yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
You could talk about it. Yeah. Awesome.
Yep, whatever you like. I'm an advocate. I'm a mom advocate. So.
Yeah, great.
But I love hearing what other people say too.
Yep.
I really learn a lot from everybody else.
Well,
too,
Chasing Truth. Do you ever? She's been on here a couple times. She's an advocate too.
Yep.
And I think one of her children is autistic. She. I don't know. What do you think about the whole vaccine angle? Because she's kind of into that, but.
Well, here's what I'm going to say about that. I think the number one issue is our foods and what they're putting in the foods. I think that has more to do with it. But then when you have DNA that is, from the foods, you have a weaker immune system. And so that's why some kids react to the injections and some kids do not. You see? Because it depends on their immune system. I've done a lot of research. I do believe that it's more than one thing. I don't think it is just the immunizations, but for the longest time they had mercury in it. So, and even for my child, he was not born this way. So, it makes you think. And even now, his doctor will not give him any kind of injections due to he reacts to them pretty bad. So
interesting. Wow.
Yep. It just depends on your DNA workup and your immunity. I think has a lot to do with it, and a lot of us are affected by it. It's not just kids with issues. I mean, mental illness is out there, and it is here, and I think our foods have a lot to do with it.
Yeah, but one of the things, though, I don't like is, vaccines might cause that, but the vaccines are also huge. Well, I don't want to get into it because it'll start a whole thing. They work, too, right? Vaccines are...
Absolutely. He has had all of his shots because I was not going to not get him his shots based on... because I'll tell you, this is a really good story. We had good friends. They refused everything. Their child died from chicken pox.
Oh, jeez. See? That's the whole thing. So it's a greater good sort of a thing.
It's a whole different story.
It's like a greater good thing. They hopefully in the future they can determine if somebody's susceptible to get autism based on a genetic test that they might take, and then those people wouldn't have to take or they could figure out a different way, maybe stagger the the shots over a longer period of time or something.
And that's what they're doing right now. Did you know that they've had some studies?
I did not know that.
Just in the last year, they came up with studies on not giving them all at once. Kind of breaking them up a little bit, because right now these kids are getting, they're getting 4 at one time, and they're just 3 months old.
Yeah, I think that's
insane.
dumb. That's dumb.
It
like,
is.
really?
It is.
Do they really even know the effects of combining them all really that well? Why not just give a shot and then 2 months later give another shot, 2 months later, or even a month, right? But just spread them out, and then there's probably, and maybe, I don't know if they figured out if you can do smaller doses or something, but I'm sure they have that stuff figured out. But it just seems like, try something else. See if it reduces the rate over time, of autism. Right?
I agree. I do. I agree. There's so many conspiracies around it, and it could start a whole conversation. But
that's why, I was getting nervous to bring that up, because it's just people calling, gosh, I did this. As a matter of fact, like Chasing Truth she's really into that. Like she'll post the documents here and there all over the place. And so then you'd have this big discussion. I can't. No. It's interesting what she's saying. I just don't. I'm a believer in vaccines.
So am I. And my child has autism.
Yeah.
And he's had them all except for meningitis, and that's because he had it when he was a year of age. So it basically, what a vaccine is, it's just the dead virus being put in so your immune system can build up a resistance to it. That's all a vaccine is.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you have a weakened immune system, some kids do. There's no way to know right now. Their studies are coming every day that I think they're getting closer to finding they can actually do the DNA test to see the different genes and stuff, or if they have a lower immunity, like you said, spread them out.
Right. Huh. Awesome. Well, man, you gave us some cool information.
I'm sorry we went off topic.
No, I'm glad, because that was stuff I've wondered about for a long time. And I was actually, I was like, whoa, wow, this is a miracle. So even though it was off topic, I still had the bridge guy walking on the screen the whole time. So at least somebody can show up and notice that.
I saw that.
But I really appreciate
you have to put Blue up there, because I always say peekaboo Blue to him.
He's not in his display case right now. I don't even know where he is.
You are totally fine. He's probably with his mom.
No, he's on top of the couch licking his feet. I see him over there.
Oh, cute. No problem. All right. Well, you have a great day. And if there's anything I can help with when you come to Orlando, let me know, because I'm here. I was actually gonna. I won't change the subject, but I would be happy to take you down by the Anthony's house and where they found Kaylee.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
It's pretty interesting how close it was.
Oh, crazy.
So.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Let somebody else talk.
All right.
No problem. Thank you. Bye. Bye-bye.
That was great. You guys should try to find that article. Try to type in like sociopath is the Asperger's keeper, something like that. You might find it out there. Just typing in keeper. It was interesting because it was written by a sociopath, and it was more about like, how come we aren't treated as if we have something? It was interesting. Anyways, well, while this was playing, I was actually looking down here, and I think I can finally see. I've always thought that this right here was the grass that you see on the bridge. And watch this. Watch. See, look at how it moves. It's actually moving. I don't know if you can see that, but it literally is swaying left and right. You see that? Look at that. See that little white part? It's moving past that dark area. So there's a little bit of wind on that bridge at that time. Well, the thing is Delusional was deleting comments and stuff last time, so we're just trying to make sure she doesn't keep hitting the button. I didn't see her delete anybody this time, but but can you see how that's sort of swaying? There's something, that's the grass on there. I mean, not that that's any sort of huge information, but I've always thought that right there was, let's see, on this shot right here, see this grass right there? That it was somewhere in that area, and it makes sense because she was standing about right there, and then it was down low, and then this right here is the grass. There might even be a little bit right there. Let me see if I can get, I'll open up some of, well, let me see if Bonnie has some great video on that too, so let's see. Is it this one? Yeah, okay, yeah, move over to the right. Yeah, see, right there is close. If this camera, this is almost the exact angle. So if the camera was low and then back, you'd have it. But right there, see, there's grass right there. But the camera was a lot lower, so it shows up in it. Yeah, it's probably about it's probably more like right in that area, down low. It's absolutely perfect. And notice how you cannot see the nodule. See, that's the whole look at this. This is an absolutely perfect video for this. See, the people who think, see right now, Bonnie's standing up and the camera's up high, right? Can anybody see the nodule at this point? Can anybody see it? Tell me if you can see the nodule that we keep talking about, the white nodule. Tell me if you can see it. Okay, great. Now watch this. As the camera gets lower, see, this is what we determined when Beth was out there. She said, oh yeah, you can only see it when you're down here low. Now watch. Now the camera's dipping, dipping, dipping. It's lower, and now look. Boom. There's the nodule right there. The nodule, the platform, the forked tree. It's crazy, right? All of a sudden there's this white thing right there because the camera is very low. Look how low this camera is right now. Now you can see it. And you can still see it about that height, which is almost, so picture it like this. There's about a 2-foot drop-off-ish at the end of the bridge. So let's say Libby was standing off the end of the bridge, and then she has the phone low. That's probably only about a foot above the top of the tracks. And so this is about exactly what it looked like. So at this angle right here, do you see all these railroad ties here? There are hundreds and hundreds of them in just a small area, but you can't tell. Now, if this was a high quality video, this was shot with a lower quality, it would be incredible to see. I think I could actually, again, place the suspect exactly in the right spot. But see, now watch this. Right there, you can still see it at that height, which is only about 2 feet above it. And right here, it's funny because I think she's actually stepping backwards. She's standing up on the tracks and then steps backwards off the tracks and then films. This is exactly the height that Libby's camera was. And then if you can see right in there, there's this grass right there. And I think that's the grass that you see right here, right on the edge there. Man, I actually hadn't seen that before. I love that shit. Sorry about that. Now these are Beth's videos, and these are way higher quality. And notice how she too is off the end of the bridge, barely above the tracks, and now you can see this is almost the exact angle here. As a matter of fact, right there, she's so close, another foot or so to the left, but look at that angle right there. It's a very sharp angle, and then when they cropped it out, they only cropped out like right here, this little bit. There could have been, Abby could have been even right here in the shot, with just a little bit showing up over there, and then, so she was probably 20 feet and he was 60 feet. And by the time she got off the end, he was almost right on him. I would say. All right. Anybody else calling in? Nope, I don't see anybody calling in. So I'm going to end the call-in portion of the show. Yeah, so this right here was so close. Like this shot. And what was amazing is even when law enforcement gave out the bigger shot of the suspect, that it had a little bit more to the left, these trees up here even matched. I mean, they were right on the money. Unbelievable. Like, I just snapped it on there. And once I had that, that's when I then put it on this shot, keeping the rail in there, and then zoomed in, and then I was able to sort of tilt him, slide him over, parallel with the line he was on, and then tilt him, and then knowing that this was 68, I think 6'8" between, it's 6'8" between this side rail and this side rail. And that's really the key, because he wasn't walking on the edges. So the key is it's 6'8", and then once you know that, you can then take two distances and then put in regular intervals and come up with the an accurate estimate. Yeah, this one's so close. Look at the white nodule, platform, fork tree, and then, you know, I'm gonna bring this into what's the name of this video here? Hold on. I'm gonna bring this into Adobe Premiere here. Hold on. Okay. There we go. See, it's big. It's a lot bigger than it was playing on the screen for you. So look, even zooming in on this, it's pretty clear. So right there. See, now we're starting to look a lot like the image they released, doesn't it? See how it's starting to get a little bit blurrier because we're zooming in. So I'll zoom in some more even, like this. And now we're getting very close to what their image looks like. See that right there? Now look right here, everybody. Can you see this grass right here in the shot? I mean, this is such a great shot by Beth right here. It was right on the money. Right there is the same grass that you see wisping around, just sort of the top of it. It's right there in that exact position. And if you go back over to here, you can kind of see it, right? Just the tops of it. But the camera is a little bit lower. That's the only difference. Like the Libby's shot is a little bit lower and a little bit to the left. Just barely though. Like a foot to the left and maybe a foot lower. And that's why this appears further away, closer to him. See, she's talking in the background. Listen. Yeah. All right, now check this out, everybody. See the lines on the bridge, like tree ring dating. You got a dark one there, and then this little extra line that jogs up right there. See that? And then there's another dark one behind it. And then you have to, and then also look at where the nodule is. So now, having that in mind, go back over to these, and then look. So I think right here are those two. Again, the camera's lower, and look how it jogs up right there. It makes that little jog up. You've got that line, this line, and then when you look at this, watch this. There's that line, this line, and how it jogs up right there. So the suspect is right in here. And that's what we determined, that this one's actually, gosh, about 7 or 8 feet past this platform towards the end of the bridge. Okay, are you guys all seeing what I'm seeing here? That's how we figured that out. So you just kind of, you got to ride down memory lane right there. The camera's just a little bit lower. All right, there you go. See, it's just so weird when you look at this thing here. Doesn't that just look like a big clump of crap right on the side there? But it's just isn't. It's unbelievable. When she actually went over and filmed that area, we were kind of just, what the hell? What do you mean, Libby? Yeah, it was Libby filming out the end of the bridge there. If I said Abby, I didn't mean to. Yeah, there's photos of the bridge that same day. Yep. I showed him yesterday. Cheyenne was out there. Yeah, Abby was still on the bridge, and apparently you can see on the film, maybe Abby kind of stepping off the bridge a little bit, down low, and then you can't see any more of the suspect. Yeah. So you look at that, and then let's go. I'm going to go bring up one of Bonnie's videos again, because she walks right by there with a high, or I think even Beth does too, but let me see if I can find it. Is it this one? Yeah. This video right here is off that same end of the bridge. There's the fork tree, there's the platform, and you can see the nodule right now because she's holding the camera low. See that? Right there. Very high definition video this one is. There's the grass that you can see in the suspect image, and that is how you know it was even lower than she's holding it. Now watch, there's the nodule. You'll still see it. Now watch this. Just keep your eye on that. Now watch what it really is. Look at this. It's nothing. It's just isn't that amazing? Just broken up side rails there. Absolutely nothing. It's just weird that it made that shape from in the background there. But it was a huge, that little white thing was a big deal. And I think Beth actually pointed that out. She goes, what's that little white thing there? And I was like, yeah, what the hell is that? And then when she went out there, and now you can see that nodule is very close to platform 6. So when people say, like, Katz out there, Michael Katz, he's still saying that Libby was standing on platform 6 when he filmed. You know that not to be true just on what I just showed you right there. You cannot see the white nodule standing on platform 6. It's impossible. Okay, so again, you go way back here, and now you can see it. That's it. On platform 6 right there, it's not a nodule anymore. It's just clearly side rails that are damaged. So whenever you hear somebody say, oh yes, it's on platform 6, it's just not true. It's not accurate. What was the question? Somebody have a question out there? I'm not taking any more calls. I'm just gonna. Yeah. Well, she's never been on the bridge before, Phoebe. So, see, stuff like that. Who cares? Like, oh wow, she didn't make it to the end of the bridge. Oh well, she didn't make it quicker. She probably tried, but just didn't make it quicker. I think Libby was like 3 feet off or so, and then Abby came off and got behind her, and then the guy comes off and then says, "Get down the hill," something like that. But he probably said, "Hey, I don't know what the timing is with the hey guys? Was it right when he was approaching? Did he walk past them a minute, like for 10 seconds or so, and kind of look around, then come back and say, then pulls out a gun and says, get down the hill? You know, maybe he was scoping the land behind, make sure there was nobody back there. I don't know. We just don't know the timing of all that. Hey, thanks, Cairo.
V enjoyed the 6 o'clock call-ins. I look forward to it all day. I hope you keep the set time for random cases as well. You're my favorite YouTube personality, 100%.
All right, well, thanks. Yeah, it is kind of cool. What I should do is have my shows, you know, I mean, I kind of like the later ones that I do, but just personally. But, you know, maybe I could make it 7 or something like that, 7 or 8 even. And always have the number on the screen for people to just call in at any time during the show. You know, because that actually could help. You know, we could even have Craft Set call in and say, Gray, no, it's over here, it's over here. Right. That's what my original video said a long time ago. Said that they noticed him coming. They probably thought he was creepy, and they hoped that he would just pass them on the bridge. Then he didn't do that. And that's where we were talking last night. What a nightmare it was, because they had that fear the whole time he was getting closer and closer. Their hearts were pounding. They were getting nervous. But they're not going to run, because why would they be running? This guy isn't really... I mean, he didn't do anything. So then they show up. He shows up, and then he actually does that thing that they were so scared about. That's just horrible. And it wasn't fast. It took a while. You know, they got over, you know, however long it took to walk across the creek, and we don't even know how long they were alive over there. It's just a freaking nightmare. Yeah, so it's not good so maybe like 8 is 8 better? I mean, 9's still kind of early over there, but 6 a.m. might work. Yeah, it would be great to know the spacing. We're just not going to get to know that. That's why it'd be cool. I should have realized back in the day when if I had flown there, I could have seen it. I think I could have. At least that's what it did sound like. I could have just seen it, because that's when, you know, I was being communicated with about making something like this for a trial. I think at the time they thought they were going to catch the guy really quick. Yeah, it's like 7 or 8 hours ahead over there in the UK. That stands for bridge guy. I don't know why that stuck, but it did. For a long time I was like, what's BG? Man, can't you just say... I always thought it meant bad guy. Doesn't that make more sense? Maybe it should be BM. A double entendre, you know, the bridge monster and then a poop. Yeah, for bowel movement. Yeah. All right. I think what would help people, though, is if I knew what time I was coming on and then put the message out, like I've been doing for these, hours ahead of time, where you know, okay, great, he's coming on at this time. Right? Would that be helpful, at least? Because sometimes I go live and then rely on the notifications coming out. What do you mean, but no greeting? Yeah, what are you sending me stuff about, Beth? Yep, that's right. I'm so mean. That's okay. Simply done. No problem. Last night I didn't eat for 6 hours straight. No dinner, so I was like, oh crap. Hey, it's Amanda Belg. 503. Must live here in Oregon. Yeah, that's right, you live in Oregon, right? Yeah.
Gray, do you know width of bridge? I'm wondering if it's possible to find his approximately height by cutting them out of the still and laying him horizontal across bridge. Might be pointless, but I was just wondering.
Yeah, but that's what we were talking about earlier. I've done that. I did that whole thing. It took me a long time. I actually put in the rest of the bridge on the right. Everything lined up perfectly, and then I laid him across, because you need the right rail to make it work. Yeah. Yeah, I did that, and then Harvey took that out of my video and put it in his video that he made. That was horrible. He just has like a triangle and says, "Say, look." You know, it's like there's no effort put in there at all. Just slapping a triangle on the screen. Yeah, I mean, well, I did like a whole live show one time doing the measuring. But yes, you were on the right track there, Amanda, because that's exactly what I used. Well, I had him between, I think it was 5'6" and 5'9". I know that's kind of a pretty big variance, but he's not a tall person, for sure. I mean, you just don't know like how tall or how much spacing he has on his shoes, how high is the hoodie over the top of his actual head. The pants look like 32? Come on, Jesus. Well, I actually think the pants look more like 34s, and the reason I believe that is because I can see he's missing one of the belt loops there. Definitely gained some weight. It was a 32, now it's a 34. Sure. Come on. Jesus. How in the hell can you guess what pant size he has? Oh, it looks like a 32. I know that. You know what that was by Sarah right there? It's like in volleyball where you set up somebody for a spike. That's what that was. Well, it doesn't matter. Even if it comes out that it's a size 32, Sarah, it will be pure luck, because there's no way to determine something like that by looking at a picture like that. Not a chance. Let's see. Does he have a belt? How we can't see. The jacket's covering it. Maybe he has a belt. I don't know. Yeah. Everybody's got a tip. Everybody's got a tip. You know, I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't even be making YouTube videos if I got $1 for every time I got an email about some new suspect. That's the guy. They're so sure too. Okay, I even was talking, you know, the guy with the band member guy. See, the way they sound, really sure of it, is exactly the same way that I've had literally thousands, not really 1,000, but hundreds of people send me emails saying, "I think this is the guy. Look it. And then I say, well, Oh, I didn't see what you wrote, Mimi. I'm just kind of talking. And then I said, well, why do you think he's the bridge guy? Well, just look at him. Well, what else has he done? Well, I don't know that, but look at him. He's got the goatee. He's got, oh boy. Jesus, who doesn't? I mean, I look just like him. Look at this crap. I got this going on. Hell, my nose even kind of has a little bit of a bulby thing at the end there. Shit, you put a hood on my head with the hat? Too. Oh my God. No, that's not how you know. He could be this guy could be any size under there. He's got a jacket around that. You have no clue what his waist size is, all right? No clue. Well, it's not really that bulby. I'm just joking around, but whatever. Who the hell knows? I don't even know if he has a bulby nose. It could be the way the sun's hitting it. We don't have a clue. We really don't. So, his face is so freaking blurry. It's absolutely about as blurry as you can possibly imagine. We don't know what his nose looks like. We think, oh, look, it's a big bulby nose. But it's so freaking blurry. He's got a shadow up there. There might be the shadows might make it look like that. No, you can't see his hair. Sorry about that. Yeah. How did you know there would be no... How did he know there... He didn't... Well, how do we know that he knew that there was no school that day? What did he... How do you know... See, like, look at Pamela's sentence there, everybody. How did he know there would be no school that day? See, that's you assuming that he knew that there was no school that day. We don't have a clue if he knew that there would be no school that day. He might have gone to the bridge and thought, oh my God, there's too many people here today. This sucks. But 2 people just fit into that trap. We have no clue that he knew that there was no school. I actually think it was worse for him. I mean, to find that one moment. He just got lucky. If you're interested in this case and haven't done so, watch Gray's videos and get caught up. Thank you very much, M22. The sniper rifle. No, Gray, you are too spry. Whatever the hell that means. Hey, you use like the common terms, okay? Give me a synonym. I don't use the word spry like ever in sentences. But I will now. If you tell me what it means. I'm not going to, I'll be honest and say I've heard it used a million times, but I don't use it. Or I haven't even heard it a million times. I've just seen it used. Well, there you go. Hey, that's great. Well, call me witty then. There you go. I like that. I did good on my SAT test on the math portion. I'll never say I was great at the English part of it. All right. Well, there'd be no show without theories. It would be a 2-hour fact session. Yep. Well, I don't mind people throwing out theories, but you can't say, how did he know about the school being out? As if that's a known fact. We just want to know how he needs. It's sort of like when someone says, so how often do you beat your wife? The beating part isn't in question. We just want to know now how often you do that. That's what it's like. You don't even know if that first part was a fact yet. No, there it is. Huh?
You can't really tell.
Perfect.
You can't really tell.
And this is only a month later, so this looks just how it looked. Same kind of weather and everything. Yeah, that could just be... I've always thought... originally, I thought that this right here, in this image, looks like a very similar color to the hoodie right here. You know, the part that's sort of interesting, though, it seems like in this shot right there, that you can see some... I don't know what that is right there, if that's actually... Oh, you can't see shit. All right, hold on. I'm still on the screen this whole time. Yeah. Hope I wasn't picking my nose or anything. Jesus. I had no idea I was still on the screen, man. I could have just been digging out boogers and all kinds of... Yeah, but see, right up here, there's like this little light area, and it stays there. It's not like it's... Let me... Gotta go through here. See, it's not just that one shot. See, it's right there, and then in that one, it almost like it's skin. I don't know, it's pretty weird. Almost like his ear is right there or something, but maybe the hoodie goes behind his left ear, perhaps. Because that looks like his left ear right there. And then maybe the hoodie goes behind it right there. Thanks, Jana Fan.
The can't see money. Lol.
All right, cool. Well, there you go. The can't see $2 donation. Yee. Hey, look at that. Angus got it right, man. He nailed it. I don't know how anybody didn't know that, but he said they are size 32 with a 32 inseam, 506 stonewash from Dillard's. And what's great about what Angus just gave us is the actual store. Yeah, I've seen where the Down the Hill is. Yeah, we've played that on the show a couple days ago. There's actually a really simple little path right there. Well, hey, they need to go check the receipts from Dillard's and watch surveillance footage. Yeah. I think it was actually... let's see what you got here. Yeah, I don't like, but they're not that great because you're filming high. No, these are exactly what we showed on the show.
Apple sent me a fraud text today asking if my donations were fraudulent. I replied, yes, I approved the message but wanted to say, dude, it's gray.
Yeah, so these are the pictures she's talking about. Like we were showing yesterday where there was a close-up where it's dark right down there. Yeah, that's what it looks like on the other side of the bridge. Yeah, there's a video that I showed that actually has the, you can even see a part where people had gone down a few times. I don't know if that was on Julie Melvin's footage. Let me see if I can find that one. Just a second. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, see, I think these are pretty good too. I mean, you can see that? Like these actually right there. See, it's too wooded right there to get down, right? But if you, well, let's see, let me go back a little bit. Yeah, God, I can't remember which one it was, but right there, you could just easily go down just off to the right there. And then you go down to the private drive, and then you can go down another hill to get down to the sort of the river basin level. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure they went off to the left down there. You know, I think it was actually Bonnie's that had that one, the good one, the really good one. Okay, here's one shot right here. See, this is right after you come off across the bridge, and then she's already kind of a little bit down the hill. So right there, there's this sort of worn spot that's right in that area. This is a little bit, I don't know if this is down. This looks like this is down from the private drive. This is the bottom level down there. And this must be, that almost seems like she's still on the bridge on that shot. Man, I would love to go out there now because I've got a drone. Jesus, that would have been so amazing. Just fly it really slow on tripod mode and go all the way across the bridge. Hell, you could even fly it down the hill. Tripod mode is so crazy because it goes so slow that you can maneuver around whatever the hell you want to, but it's absolutely perfectly still. Yeah, so this is right up near the end of the bridge too. Maybe platform 6 actually. And then you can see down to the private drive. I mean, when you see all these videos and shots, does it help you guys? I mean, I hope all of you guys have this whole area completely pictured in your head now, because it's just, I've shown you guys this stuff a million times. And it just seems like it's really simple at this point. I mean, I know I've seen it way more, but... I'm just trying to find the, there's a couple shots from the end down there. Yep, don't see it. I don't know where that clip is that we watched yesterday, but... I don't know. No. 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 Well, anyways, that's not it. But you could see it. I played it, I think, yesterday. There's a really dark area where people probably went down the hill. But yeah, I mean, the images that Beth gave are the same ones that we just saw kind of on that other video where you just... Right where the crime scene tape is, it's not even that steep. It's just a little hill. If you just kind of turn sideways and use one leg, go down, it'd be really easy. And then you go across the private drive, and then there's another hill that goes down, and it's this time of year, it's easy to do it because the foliage, it gets really thick during the summer months. Nah, I don't want to talk about it. Is there anything new in that case, Amy? Other than the show that I did earlier? We can do it tomorrow, but I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go get something to eat before it gets too late. Yeah, I'm not taking any more calls. I'm done. I think. Unless I don't even have it open anymore, so... Yeah, let's see. That's what I'm doing, eating chips and salsa. Well, I'm going to go eat some chicken. Anyways, thank you guys very much for calling in, and also thanks Mama Bear for your information on autism and so forth. That was enlightening. I appreciate it, and I think that's it. All right. So do we want to do a flyby tonight or not? Yeah, right there. See that little dark area? That's where a lot of people had gone down. It seemed really easy to get down right there. And it's right there too. See? I'm not gonna do a flyby in Delphi. Jesus. I want somewhere peaceful. A swamp. I'm just gonna go to Alaska somewhere, wind down, see what happens. Isn't there any, like a monument or anything in Alaska? Ooh. That was weird. How about Timbuktu? Is that a place? Wow, there it is. It's a real place. There we go. Wow, he's from Timbuktu. Yeah, I don't think you'd want to live in Timbuktu. Look at this. It's like being on the moon. That's probably why people say, wow, you must live out in Timbuktu. Because there's like nothing there. Oh, there you go. The Glastonbury Tour. All right. Yeah, let's do this one. I like this one. Somebody actually said on one of my the video I did yesterday, halfway through I switched topics because we were done and it was a live show, and then he put a comment, how come you switched to something else halfway through? It's like, why do you even have to ask a question? Just watch the freaking video. How about this? Go watch the other channels. All right? They'll probably not do that for you. See, I have a live show. We kind of move around. Nobody needs to ask, wow, how come you did that? I have to have everything so neat into a box, and it disrupted my whole brain. All right. Anyways, here we go. This would be a good place to fly a drone here, wouldn't it? right, everybody. Thank you for showing up. Before I get off, though, let me thank, just a second. All right, so thanks to Just Crystal, which was AKA Beaver Gaming Sub from back in the day. And then Cairo Al Qadir, Nona 617, MS Mola, Heather Graham, Soul for Music 79, Karen K, Cairo Al Qadir again, and Jana Fan, and Simply Done. Thank you very much. Yeah. All right. And then let me go over to. I got to turn that down a little bit. That music always makes me happy. All right. What the hell is that? Why does it look like that? All right, and then on PayPal, we have Addie Riley, Jennifer. I don't know if it's CZOTY. I don't know how to pronounce that, so I won't try. But Jennifer, how about that? And then Donna, Megan Humphrey, and Glenn Forrest. All right. Thank you very much. That's cool. I didn't realize that they came in on there. And then it looks like also Suzanne Bradbury and Amanda Belg as well. Man, that's quite a few little PayPal contributions. I appreciate it. Didn't realize that. Huh. You ever get those little notifications from Twitter that say something like, reset your password? If you requested your password reset, click the button below. If you didn't make this request, ignore this email. But I didn't, so I mean, it's kind of weird. Like, how did a request get made, or did they just? I don't get that at all. I don't understand how that would happen. So, anyways, it gets kind of confusing after a while. I mean, if somebody has my Twitter account to request a new password, can you request a password without signing in, though? Kind of weird. Anyways, thank you everybody for showing up tonight. I will be doing 2 more nights of the Delphi live shows, and then, obviously I'll cover it from time to time like I did before, or if there's breaking news, something like that. But I think this has been useful for people to get out theories and everything, and at least on this channel, they're not the wild, crazy ones, although we've had a couple of those. All right. So thank you everybody for showing up. And until next time, let me start over again. Until next time, be safe out there.